Welcome to a community tier list. This is a live voting feature where I'm recording this on stream. People are voting live as I record this, and if you're watching this on the YouTube in the future, then the voting's already done, but this is going to be a community tier list. So instead of me just ranking all the swords on my own, we're all going to be doing it together. And this video is actually kind of funny for me because we did this as a community many months ago, and I've been scheduling videos as I normally do, and so that video has never gone live and never will because the Slicc got added to the game before I ever had a chance to post the video naturally. So I'm re-recording this before the first one ever even goes live. You guys wouldn't know the difference, but I wanted to share that story anyway. And because this is a community vote, by the way, don't take every placement of these super seriously. I'm going to explain everything as we go along, but just be well understood that we have all power levels of players here and we have all levels of seriousness. Some people take S tier very seriously like myself. Some people put everything in S tier just to troll. It's not my favorite thing that people do, but it does happen and I'll explain it as we go along. So yeah, starting off with the Black Blade Sword. It is really slow swing speed, damage that is unimpressive in my opinion, and it's I don't know, it has a really powerful 6 perk. It can be used to great effect. I don't know. I used to put this in easy F tier. That was simple for me. The black metal 6 perk booms have had a little bit of merit. I'm not sold yet. I'll put it in C tier. I'm starting to maybe understand how good this weapon can be, but I don't know. Slicc, getting right into it with our brand new melee. I think this one's an easy A tier. It's got a fast natural swing speed. It's locked to water, so it's not a universal pick, but it's got a freezing 6 perk, which can be really useful. I don't think it can have the affliction 6 perk, which really holds it back. It's not quite S tier, but it is really, really strong, and I'm glad that it's strong because it's the whole reason I'm re-recording this video. So yeah, I'm also going to do average rating, which is kind of cool because it's not just the most votes that an item gets. It's actually sorting this by the average of all the votes together. It's pretty cool. This is the Vindertech Slicer. It has the exact same stats as the Stormblade and the Founder's Masamune, but it doesn't have crit hits cause an explosion. It doesn't have the unique 6 perk of the Founder's Masamune. It is locked to energy, which doesn't really help it much. You guys are putting B tier. Honestly, that's probably fine. In my brain, it's an F tier obsolete weapon because the Stormblade does its job better. But the Stormblade's pretty good for the same reasons it's pretty good. I mean, if it has the same stats, yeah. This weapon, you could make it work. I don't think you ever should, but you could make it work. The Vacuum Tube Sword is, in my opinion, an S tier weapon. It is really, really A tier. Okay. I can understand that it's locked to nature, and that might hold it back. It's not usable in fire zones. It's effective, albeit less effective, but it is effective in nature zones. It really shines in water zones. This weapon and its chain lightning is amazing crowd clearing, amazing damage. It's really, really, really strong. I think it's S tier. Even being locked to nature, I think it's S tier. Holds it back a little bit, but the chain lightning, in my opinion, brings it right back up on top. So, yeah. Next one here is the Tree of Light. This is a slower swinging melee that does pretty good damage. It has a unique 6 perk that stuns enemies. It can have triple crit damage, and I think triple crit. Actually, I have no idea. Can it have triple attack speed? Let's go check that instead of talking out my ass and guessing live on camera. Let's go look into these perks real quick here. It can have double attack speed. Okay, so it can have double attack speed, triple crit damage. It has some fun perk combinations. I'll give it B tier. Never really blew my hair back. I've tried it. Never been super impressed, but the community thinks it's A tier, which is surprising to me, completely honest. All right, next one is the Killjoy. So this is the Art Deco weapon that can have the unique 6 perk where it can do extra 44% damage. That's unique to the set, by the way, not the weapon in this case. So it can be 44% extra damage to nature, water, or fire. That brings it very, very far. It doesn't have affliction if you're going to be using that. Well, actually, I think it only has those. So no affliction, which is huge. It's really strong in melees. I'll give it A tier. It's a very versatile melee. It might be a little underrated as these votes are suggesting, but Art Deco llamas come around randomly. It's not like there's a seasonal event for Art Deco llamas. So as a content creator, I've never been able to like revisit the Art Deco weapons where it matters. You know, if there was a seasonal event where we could all get the Art Deco weapons for a period of time, then great. I have a great excuse to talk about these weapons again, but unfortunately, it comes around kind of rarely. Unlike the Stormblade, which comes around almost every single day. This weapon has, as I mentioned, the crit hits cause an explosion. In fact, I think I can pull up this video really quickly because I have a whole page for it on my stream deck. If I just go to here and then catch up on my chat, pull up this link real quick here, we might even get some gameplay inside of a, yeah. So my resolution's really low right now. Let me fix that right here. You can see the crit hits cause an explosion, just cleaves through targets. It's so much extra damage. Really, really, really fun weapon. And for that reason, it's S tier. Yeah, same stats as the Vintage Slicer, but a 6 perk that's so amazing that it's just really, really fun. Stormblade's so good. Ravager is the definition of a perfect melee in Save the World. I always figured the mythic weapons are the best version of that weapon that the developers allow themselves to create. The Ravager has perfect perks. It can be triple attack speed, crit damage. It can be triple crit damage, attack speed. It can be crit rating, double crit damage, attack speed. It can be physical or energy, which kind of holds it back, not being able to be a specific element, but it's custom 6 perk doing ranged weapon damage. It's nuts. It's not ranged weapon damage, but like ranged damage. The Ravager is the best melee in the game. It's not even really a competition. The Stabsworth is a little less sexy, but it's very strong. It has high natural swing speed, affliction, which brings it very far, damage to afflicted, which helps, and it can have solid perks. It can have double attack speed. With Paleoluna, this is one of the best Paleoluna weapons in the game. I keep mentioning affliction because it does a lot of damage nowadays, and melees specifically get more affliction damage than ranged weapons, and it's a lot of extra damage too. You can go through a crowd of targets by hitting each of them once, and they'll die if it's not healing death burst. So Stabsworth does that job very, very well with Paleoluna. The Spectral Blade is kind of like the Ravager, except it doesn't have that ranged attack, and it can be water on top of physical and energy. It has all of the perfect perk combinations that I just mentioned. It's really, really good. And it's not a mythic, so if you're a brand new player, you can pick it up from its seasonal event in Fortnite, and it's a lot more attainable, and it's a very, very strong weapon. It can actually outdamage the Ravager in fire zones because it has that water element, which is interesting to know. This is the Slice and Dice. It is basically as good as the Stabsworth. I will literally put this in S tier. This is actually a good reason that we're re-recording this video, because I've tried this weapon since then, and everybody voting it in B tier is not informed. I sound a little condescending there because I've tested this weapon. I've done the math as well. It is basically a slightly less Stabsworth. It's like 99% as good as a Stabsworth. Slightly lower swing speed and slightly less damage, but it's functionally the same weapon, and it's extremely strong. This weapon just got voted a tier lower than it really should be. This is not a weapon I'm familiar with. I've heard extremely bad things about the hydraulic weapons, and nobody has given me a reason to try them. Every time I pick them up in Ventures, they seem terrible. So I'm going to stick that one in F tier. I'm going to go with the flow on this one, but I do have to continue defending the Slice and Dice. I think that weapon just got a bad rap. This actually happened in our launchers tier list. This is my favorite example because the bazooka got ranked higher than the trash cannon, even though the trash cannon has identical stats, and it's a scavenger weapon. So it's just cheaper to craft, cheaper to operate. It's like a more efficient bazooka, and it put a tier underneath it. The community doesn't always know what they're talking about as a whole. I do not know what I'm talking about when it comes to the Krypton Sword. I've heard good reviews, but I've heard mixed reviews as well. See, here's the thing. As a content creator who covers every weapon in the game, hundreds of them, I have to focus on one weapon at a time. I can't use every weapon every day. And unless a weapon gets really good reviews from a commenter, maybe somebody does some math and says, yo, Beast, this loadout's really strong, I don't often visit weapons like this, where everybody tells me it's bad, and I just kind of have to believe them. Not sure why the pause button didn't work there, but Hus Cleaver is another weapon where I've heard decent things. A tier kind of surprises me. I believe it's called the Hus Cleaver because I've never really gotten much praise for this way. Let me just go ahead and sort by subtype real quick here, get all the swords in one page. Yeah, the Hus Cleaver. Is this weapon good? Is this something I need to try out? I'm going to abstain from voting because I don't even have a basis for whether or not that weapon's good. Maybe I should hop in game right now and go try that out. Guardian's Will, I'll say, is S tier. It has, same as I mentioned before, the double attack speed, the elements. I think it has, actually, I believe it has every element. Let's find out together because I'm 90% sure it does. It might be water only because it's all elements. It's really strong. It's not just affliction and perks, but it's got all the elements and it's very, very good damage. It also has the lunging attack, which a lot of people like for movement. Double movement speed lunge on the Guardian's Will can be faster than the Baron. It's clunky and annoying to do it, so I don't value that as a proper movement method, but you can do it, and it's a versatile, strong weapon. That's an S tier sword in my opinion. Founder's Masamune, I'll say S tier, same deal as the Stormblade. good. It has that 6 perk where every 6 hits, not on the same target, 6 hits in general triggers an explosion that does, what is it, 106%? I don't remember the exact value. It's just a lot. I don't really need to keep the number in my head. 106 is correct. Yeah, so it's really good. It's not 5 hits in a row on the same target. It's 6 hits in general. Because that's the other 6 perk that some melees have, is 5 hits in a row, and some ranged weapons as well. It's really, really good. It's locked to fire, but in nature zones or fire zones, it's a strong, strong, strong pick. Great perks and everything. Dragon's Fang. It's not terrible. I've only ever really tried this weapon with Luna, and I know that it's locked to fire. In a nature zone, it could be solid. I don't think it's F tier. I think the C tier people know more what they're talking about here. I think a lot of people write off the dragon weapons and throw in the F tier without even trying it. I have given this weapon a shot. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. But again, it's like I said with the Krypton Sword. It's not so good that I'm now focusing my efforts on producing a video to show you guys how strong it is. It's just a weapon that I'm vaguely aware of. I don't know. Corsair has, again, great perks, great 6 perks, great elemental options. I don't know if it's S tier. I really don't think so. It's certainly A tier. It's a strong, strong weapon, but I don't know. It's kind of middle of the pack. It's like it's just shy of being as strong as I want it to be. Let's see what kind of... Don't I have a Corsair leveled up? Maybe it's up here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so I have this spec for like the pistol damage. It has, you know, crit rating and movement. It doesn't have like ideal perk options, but it can be strong, and it's just a weapon that exists, and you can try it and it'll do well, but it's not going to be the strongest melee in the game. So there you go. Nice little community tier list and all the best swords in the game. I agree with most of these placements. You can see that like my list is a little different from the community. I think there are a lot of S tier swords in this game, obviously. Slice and Dice might be a bit high, same reason as the Vintertech Slicer, because the Stabsworth exists. I think the Slice and Dice is kind of a completely obsolete weapon. I'm just saying it is as strong, so it deserves to be up here. But sometimes I change my mind on that opinion. And yeah, you can see how my results vary. So that's why I like doing these community tier lists, because you get to see kind of an overview breakdown. I think some instances the community's wrong, but this is what everybody thinks, or at least the people who showed up on stream today. So yeah, if you ever want to be a part of these, Twitch link down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel. See you guys later in the next one. You know, recommended videos at the end. And yeah, thanks for watching.